Battosai the Kill Sword.
I want everyone out here! Move it! Right there! Come on! Let's go!
Get him!
Tactic called Way of the...
This is pointless. Put your sword away. I am not that man. I have respect.
5 years from age 14 to... Fight like a man! Bastard Battosai!
Kanryu Takeda!
Battosai Himura! That isn't very polite, you know! How the whole fortune is Try! Stay down!
Kill me with a blade like that? And could you? That was worth
Your tricks immediately!
that.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the action-packed world of Rurouni Kenshin Part 1 Origins, a cinematic masterclass that plunges us straight into the chaotic final days of the Bakumatsu era. We kick things off with a brutal, rain-slicked battle where our protagonist, a shadowy figure known only as Hitokiri Battosai, is carving his way through an army of samurai. The clatter of steel, the whoosh of a blade, and the thud of bodies hitting the muddy ground are all that fill the air as he effortlessly dispatches his opponents. This guy isn't just good. He's a one-man wrecking crew, making mincemeat of anyone foolish enough to stand in his path. It's a pretty intense introduction, setting the stage for a period of immense change and violence. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Fast forward 10 years. The Edo period has officially ended. The Bakumatsu is ancient history, and our former legendary assassin has traded his blood-soaked past for a life of peaceful wandering. Now known as Kenshin Himura, he strolls along dusty country roads looking for all the world like a gentle, unassuming soul. But don't let the soft smile and kind eyes fool you. Beneath that unassuming exterior lies the formidable skill of the Battosai, now bound by a vow never to kill again. He carries a sakabato, a reverse blade sword, a rather symbolic choice if you ask me. It's a blade that can protect without shedding blood. Imagine trying to explain that to a customs officer. Yes, it's a sword, but no, it's not for violence, it's for philosophical disarmament. Our boy Kenshin is trying his best to atone for his past, but as we all know, a quiet life is usually just a prelude to more chaos in these kinds of stories. We then meet the fiery and fiercely independent Kaoru Kamiya, a young woman struggling to keep her family's kendo dojo afloat. Unfortunately, the dojo part of that sentence is mostly symbolic, as it's more do than jo these days, with hardly any students left. Her troubles are compounded by a violent imposter, a sword-swinging brute who's been going around claiming to be the notorious Hitokiri Battosai. He's causing all sorts of havoc, framing the real Battosai, which, let's be honest, is a pretty low blow considering Kenshin's whole no more killing vibe. This fake Battosai and his gang are not only terrorizing the locals, but also threatening to take over Kaoru's dojo. Talk about adding insult to injury. The clang of the thug's weapons against her practice blade echoes through the empty hall, a stark reminder of her precarious situation. Just when things look dire, a familiar kind-eyed wanderer steps in. You can practically hear the collective sigh of relief from the townsfolk, and probably a few, "Oh, thank goodness the actual hero has arrived," comments. And just like that, Kenshin, ever the quiet hero, steps into the fray. He effortlessly disarms the imposter and his goons, proving that true skill doesn't require flashy brutality. The fake Battosai, clearly overcompensating for something, finds himself outmatched the moment Kenshin's reverse blade makes a subtle thwack against his weapon. It's less a fight and more a demonstration of, "Here's how it's done, amateur." The satisfying clank of swords as Kenshin parries and blocks, without ever drawing blood, is a testament to his unique path. Kaoru, initially convinced Kenshin was the Battosai, is utterly stunned by his gentle strength. You can practically see the mental gears turning. Wait, he's not a ruthless killer, and he's good, and he helps old ladies cross the street too, probably? After a brief misunderstanding, because, of course, what's a good origin story without one, Kenshin ends up staying at Kaoru's dojo. It's a classic setup. the mysterious loner finds a new, slightly chaotic home. What could possibly go wrong? Everything, probably. No action movie is complete without an overly enthusiastic rival who eventually becomes your best buddy, and Rurouni Kenshin delivers with Sanosuke Sagara. This towering force of nature, with a heart as big as his ridiculously oversized Zanbato, makes his grand entrance. His weapon, by the way, is less a sword and more a slab of metal on a stick. A true measure twice, cut once, and maybe destroy a small building in the process kind of guy. Sanosuke is a former member of the Sekiho army, utterly disillusioned by the new government, and now makes a living as a street fighter, taking jobs from anyone willing to pay. Guess who hired him to take out Kenshin? Yep, a local industrialist with questionable morals, Kanryu Takeda. The clash of Sanosuke's massive weapon against Kenshin's lighter blade creates a resounding clang that vibrates through the street, attracting a crowd. You can feel the sheer force behind Sanosuke's swings, a desperate anger fueling his every move. But Kenshin, ever the master of evasive maneuvers, dances around him like a particularly agile butterfly. It's an awesome display of power against precision, with a side order of, this guy really needs a hug, or a better-paying job. The fight between Kenshin and Sanosuke is a beautifully choreographed whirlwind of raw power versus refined grace. Sanosuke, fueled by resentment and a healthy dose of brute strength, swings his colossal blade with earth-shattering force. Each whoosh of his Zanbato could probably flatten a small car, but Kenshin, with his almost supernatural speed, moves like a whisper in the wind. He deflects, parries, and dodges every single attack, making Sanosuke look like he's trying to swat a particularly annoying fly with a telephone pole. The metallic screech of their blades grinding against each other is intense, but it's Kenshin's silent precision that ultimately wins the day. With a quick flick of his wrist and a precise, non-lethal strike to the head, Kenshin sends the larger man sprawling to the ground, unconscious. Sanosuke might be a tough cookie, but he quickly learns that Kenshin plays in a different league. There's a quiet thump as Sanosuke collapses, and you just know this isn't the last we'll see of this formidable, if slightly clumsy, fighter. This is the moment where an enemy becomes a future ally, which is practically rule number 1 in the hero's handbook. Now let's talk about the true villain of our piece, the man pulling all the strings and profiting from human misery, Kanryu Takeda. This guy is the epitome of a cartoonishly evil industrialist, complete with an extravagant mansion, a legion of goons, and a penchant for, you guessed it, illegal opium manufacturing. He's not just a drug dealer, he's a full-blown entrepreneur of addiction, exploiting the vulnerable and consolidating power in the new era. The sight of his opulent estate, juxtaposed with the grim reality of the opium dens he funds, creates a stark, unsettling contrast. You can almost smell the acrid smoke and feel the desperation of those trapped in its grip. Kanryu's sneering face and dismissive gestures paint him as the kind of guy who'd step on a puppy to reach a higher shelf. He's surrounded by a diverse array of hired muscle, showcasing his wealth and influence. He's got his fingers in every pie, and they're all sticky with something illicit. Seriously, how do these guys always afford such massive villainous compounds? Must be a good return on investment for all that bad guy stock. Enter Megumi Takani, a brilliant doctor from a renowned medical family, now trapped in Kanryu's sinister clutches. She's being forced to cook up his spiderweb opium, a particularly nasty and potent concoction. Her family's medical expertise is being twisted into a tool for destruction, and the look of sheer desperation in her eyes is palpable. She's a walking embodiment of Kanryu's cruelty, and frankly, it's a terrifying situation. When she makes a daring escape, running through the bustling streets, you can practically hear her ragged breaths and the frantic thump of her heart. She's pursued by Kanryu's thugs, their heavy boots thudding against the cobblestones. But, in a stroke of fate, she stumbles right into the path of Kenshin and his newfound friends. The clatter of the pursuing thug's weapons against the street is a clear indicator of the danger she's in. It's a classic damsel in distress scenario, But Megumi is far from helpless. She's a strong-willed woman, just caught in an impossible bind. Her pleas for help, though quiet, are incredibly powerful, resonating with Kenshin's protective nature. With Megumi safely, for now, nestled in the Kamiya dojo, our motley crew starts to truly form. Kenshin, Kaoru, the spirited young Yahiko, and now a very much not unconscious Sanosuke, who, by the way, has come around to Kenshin's way of thinking, probably after realizing Kenshin could have easily turned him into a shish kebab if he wanted to, are all gathered under one roof. The dojo, once quiet and desolate, now buzzes with a new kind of energy. The clinking of bowls and the murmur of conversation create a comforting domestic soundscape, a brief calm before the inevitable storm. Megumi reveals the full extent of Kanryu's monstrous operation, painting a grim picture of widespread addiction and misery. The tension in the room is palpable as the true scale of the villain's evil sinks in. It's one of those moments where you realize, oh, this isn't just a random bad guy. This guy is really bad, like Evil Overlord Handbook bad. The shared meal solidifies their bond, hinting at the difficult journey they are about to embark upon. Our heroes are officially assembled and ready for whatever ridiculousness is thrown their way. Or, slightly less ridiculousness preferably. Of course, Kanryu isn't just going to let his prized opium chemist waltz off into the sunset. He sends a detachment of his goons to reclaim Megumi, resulting in the first major assault on the Kamiya dojo. The smash of the dojo doors bursting open and the harsh shouts of the thugs shatter the peaceful evening. Suddenly, the dojo, a place of training and relative calm, is transformed into a chaotic battleground. Kenshin and Sanosuke spring into action, a formidable duo. Kenshin, with his lightning-fast movements, disarms and incapacitates enemies with an almost supernatural grace. You hear the sharp thwack of his sakabato connecting with the flat of a blade or the side of an enemy's head is surprisingly impactful. Meanwhile, Sanosuke, with his beastly strength and mighty zanbato, becomes a human bulldozer, clearing paths and sending thugs flying with each swing. It's a fantastic display of their complementary fighting styles. Kenshin's defensive grace against Sanosuke's offensive power. The combined clatter of swords and grunts of effort fills the air, as they make it abundantly clear that the dojo is not an easy target. It's almost like Kanryu forgot to check their Yelp reviews for difficulty level. Having successfully fended off the initial assault, Kenshin stands on the dojo veranda, looking out at the city. The glow of the city lights reflects in his eyes, a stark contrast to the dark path he walked during the Bakumatsu. This quiet moment is crucial. It's where Kenshin solidifies his resolve. He's no longer just a wanderer trying to escape his past. He's found new purpose in protecting those around him. The subtle creak of the wooden floorboards beneath his feet is the only sound in the stillness, amplifying his internal struggle. His vow, never to kill again, becomes not a burden but a guiding principle, a challenge he faces head-on. He knows confronting Kanryu means stepping into a lion's den, but he does so with a quiet determination. He's seen the depths of human cruelty, and he refuses to let it fester. It's a beautiful character moment, showing that even the most scarred souls can find redemption and a reason to fight for good. Plus, it gives the audience a chance to breathe before the next epic showdown, which, let's be real, is always just around the corner in these films. Now for the main event, infiltrating Kanryu's ridiculously fortified mansion. Our heroes, Kenshin, Sanosuke, and a determined Kaoru, approach the imposing estate under the cover of a moonlit night. The mansion looms like a dark, silent beast, its walls high and its windows eerily lit. You can almost feel the tension in the air, the quiet rustle of leaves and the faint chirping of crickets amplifying their cautious steps. It's a classic sneak into the bad guy's lair scenario, but with the added pressure of stopping a citywide drug epidemic. Kaoru, despite not being a seasoned fighter like the other two, shows incredible bravery, insisting on joining them. The soft whisper of their footsteps as they navigate the perimeter, trying to find an entry point, builds suspense. They're outnumbered, outgunned, and walking straight into a trap, but their resolve is unwavering. It's like a high-stakes game of capture the flag, but if you lose, the whole city gets addicted to spiderweb opium. No pressure, though. Once inside, the real fun begins. Kenshin and Sanosuke move like a well-oiled machine, navigating the labyrinthine corridors of Kanryu's mansion. The place is crawling with guards, all of whom are about to have a very bad night. Kenshin, with his lightning-fast movements, disarms and incapacitates enemies with an almost supernatural grace. You hear the sharp thwack of his sakabato against a guard's head, followed by a soft thud as they crumple to the ground, unconscious but thankfully still breathing. Sanosuke, on the other hand, is a bit less subtle. His gigantic zanbato becomes a sweeping force, knocking multiple guards off their feet with a powerful whoosh and a resounding clatter of their dropped weapons. It's a beautifully choreographed dance of contrasting styles, a silent ballet of violence where no one actually dies, which is pretty impressive when you consider the sheer number of guys they're up against. They're basically a walking, breathing, no-lethal force police academy, teaching these thugs a very painful lesson in humility. The whole sequence is a masterclass in action, proving you don't need blood to make a scene impactful. Just when you think it's going too smoothly, because let's be real, it always does. Our heroes run into Kanryu's A-team, the Oniwa Banshu. These aren't your average thugs. These are highly skilled, specialized fighters, each with their own unique and usually annoying combat style. First up is Bashimi, a dart-throwing little whirlwind who flings shurikens with alarming speed. You can practically hear the whiz of those tiny blades as they sail past Kenshin's ear. Then there's Hanya, a master of disguise and deception whose movements are so fluid he might as well be a ghost. And don't forget Hayatoko, who breathes fire like he's got a personal dragon in his stomach, creating a searing hiss as flames erupt. These guys are a serious step up in difficulty, forcing Kenshin and Sanosuke to really push their limits. The sudden increase in the intensity of the clanging steel and sharp exclamations of surprise from our heroes signals that the stakes have just been raised significantly. It's like switching from easy mode to nightmare mode in a video game, but without the option to just rage quit. And then, the true leader of the Oniwa Banshu makes his grand, and rather chilling, entrance. Aoshi Shinomori. This guy isn't just a fighter. He's a master strategist and an incredibly potent warrior, wielding a pair of kodachi with deadly precision. His movements are so precise, so controlled, that every clink of his blades feels deliberate, almost surgical. Aoshi's presence instantly elevates the tension, adding a layer of cold, calculated threat to the already chaotic mansion. He's not driven by money or power like Kanryu. He's driven by a profound sense of duty to his fallen comrades and the Oniwaban, a loyalty that borders on obsession. This makes him a far more dangerous adversary than any of Kanryu's other goons, because he fights with conviction, not just a paycheck. You can almost feel the weight of his resolve in the air, a silent pressure that promises a truly challenging battle. His stoic demeanor and piercing gaze hint at a deep, complex character, making him less of a villain and more of a tragic figure. A guy who probably needs a really good therapist but opts for sword fighting instead. The clash between Kenshin and Aoshi is nothing short of spectacular. It's a high-stakes, acrobatic ballet of blades, where every move is calculated, every parry precise. Aoshi's twin kodachi slice through the air with a menacing swish, their metallic clangs against Kenshin's sakabato echoing through the halls. Kenshin, ever graceful, matches Aoshi's relentless offense with his signature Hiten Mitsurugi Ryu techniques, his footwork so fast it's almost a blur. You can practically feel the force of their impacts, the subtle vibrations through the screen as their weapons meet. This isn't just a fight. It's a philosophical debate waged with steel, two warriors of different eras, different codes, testing each other's limits. Aoshi's commitment to his duty, even if misguided, makes him a compelling opponent, one who genuinely pushes Kenshin to the brink. The sheer speed and agility of both fighters are mesmerizing, making it one of the highlights of the film. It's the kind of sword fight that makes you lean forward, holding your breath, silently cheering for both of them, because honestly, they're both incredibly cool. While the swords are clashing, we cut back to Megumi, who has unfortunately been recaptured. She's now tied up, witnessing the full, horrifying extent of Kanryu's depravity. He's not just a drug dealer. He's a megalomaniac, reveling in the suffering he inflicts. His sneering voice drips with contempt as he gloats about his plans to flood the city with spiderweb opium. The subtle creak of the ropes binding her, coupled with the chilling silence of her desperate resistance, adds to the oppressive atmosphere. It's a stark reminder of what our heroes are fighting for and what's truly at stake. Megumi's defiant gaze, even in such a dire situation, speaks volumes about her inner strength. She's not just a victim. She's a survivor, and her courage burns brightly even against Kanryu's suffocating evil. It's a classic villain monologue moment, but it's delivered with such chilling precision that you genuinely feel the weight of his menace. This guy doesn't just want money, he wants to watch the world burn, with opium fumes, presumably. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse, because of course they can, the real big bad makes his move, Udo Jinni. This guy isn't just a fighter. He's a psychological tormentor, a former Hitakiri known as the Shadow Killer. And he's got a truly unsettling ability. He can paralyze people with his Shin no Ippo, or evil eye, essentially stopping their hearts with a hypnotic gaze. The guttural gasp of Kaoru as she falls under his spell is genuinely unsettling. He's deliberately targeting Kenshin by kidnapping Kaoru, aiming to drag the legendary Battosai back out of his peaceful shell. The chilling click of his sword leaving its sheath, almost a whisper of death, underscores his terrifying presence. Jinni represents everything Kenshin is trying to escape, the brutal, unfeeling killer. His maniacal laughter and taunting words cut through the air, designed to provoke Kenshin into abandoning his vow. It's a deeply personal challenge, pushing Kenshin's control to its absolute limits, because nobody likes a villain who plays dirty, especially when it involves hypnotizing your friends. Kaoru's life hanging in the balance, slowly suffocating under Jinni's evil gaze, pushes Kenshin to the edge. You can see the shift, the subtle tightening of his jaw, the flash of cold fury in his eyes, a terrifying glimpse of the Battosai he so desperately tries to suppress. The gentle thwack of his Sakabato is replaced by a more aggressive slash and parry imbued with a primal, desperate energy. This isn't just Kenshin fighting. This is the ghost of the manslayer resurfacing, fueled by rage and desperation. Jinni revels in this, pushing Kenshin further, craving the return of his former rival. The metallic ring of their swords clashing grows more intense, each impact carrying the weight of Kenshin's internal battle. He's teetering on a precipice, fighting not just Jinni, but the monster within himself. It's a truly chilling moment, showcasing the immense control Kenshin usually maintains and the terrifying power that lies just beneath the surface. You're left wondering if he can truly hold on, or if the killer will finally break free. Just as Kenshin's eyes are fully consumed by the cold, murderous intent of the Battosai, and his blade hovers inches from Jinni's throat. A faint, desperate whisper cuts through the roaring battle in his mind. It's Kaoru, barely conscious, her hand weakly reaching out, pleading with him to remember his vow. This is the pivotal moment, the true test of his resolve. The silent struggle within Kenshin is palpable. The growl of the beast within fighting against the gentle soul. The soft thump of his own heart, which had been racing, starts to calm as he reconnects with Kaoru's unwavering belief in him. He chooses his new path, opting not to take a life, even that of such a vile antagonist. It's an agonizing decision, showcasing the profound love and trust that has blossomed between them. Instead of killing Jinni, Kenshin disables him with a powerful, non-lethal strike, opting for justice over vengeance. It's a raw, emotional scene that truly defines Kenshin's character and his commitment to his promise. Talk about a close call! We almost had a bad ending there, folks. With Jinni defeated, though not killed by Kenshin, he handles that himself with a rather dramatic self-inflicted wound. Because, theatrical villains, Kanryu's last best hope is gone. From his perch on a balcony observing the chaos, Kanryu utterly loses it. The man who was once so smug and composed devolves into a desperate, cackling mess. The frantic clatter of him knocking over furniture in his rage, coupled with his high-pitched, almost cartoonish screams of frustration, is a stark contrast to his earlier composure. It's a villain's descent into madness, realizing his carefully constructed empire is crumbling around him. He's like a kid who just lost his favorite toy and is now throwing a world-class tantrum, except his toy was a psychotic assassin. Now, without his strongest protector, Kanryu is truly vulnerable and his true cowardice shines through. You almost feel a tiny bit of satisfaction watching him squirm after all the misery he's caused. Almost. He's probably thinking, why didn't I just stick to selling, I don't know, morally ambiguous widgets? In a move that screams, I've officially lost my marbles, Kanryu decides the best defense is an utterly insane offense. He grabs a massive Gatling gun, because apparently every good villain keeps one in their living room, and starts firing indiscriminately through his own mansion. The deafening rat-a-tat-tat of the machine gun is absolutely terrifying, tearing through walls and scattering debris everywhere. You can almost feel the vibrations in your chest as the bullets rip through the sturdy structure. It's a chaotic, over-the-top display of desperation, endangering everyone, including his own remaining goons. Kenshin, Sanosuke, and Kaoru have to duck and weave through a hail of bullets, the sharp whiz of each projectile a constant threat. It's a scene of pure, unadulterated cinematic madness, turning the stately mansion into a Swiss cheese factory. Honestly, at this point, you just have to admire his commitment to being absolutely unhinged. When in doubt, just spray bullets everywhere. They're probably not in the official How to Be a Villain handbook, but he certainly tried. But Kenshin, being Kenshin, isn't about to let a little thing like a Gatling gun stop him. In one of the most iconic and, frankly, most unbelievable moments of the film, he performs an almost impossible feat. He dashes directly towards Kanryu, deflecting every single bullet with his reverse blade sword. The relentless ping-ping-ping of bullets ricocheting off his sakabato is a symphony of pure skill and utter defiance. You can practically hear the subtle whoosh of air as he moves, so fast he seems to teleport. It's a testament to his superhuman speed and swordsmanship, pushing the boundaries of what's physically possible. The sheer audacity of the move is breathtaking, a silent challenge to Kanryu's destructive power. It's a moment that makes you sit up and say, okay, that's just showing off, but in the best possible way. It's a heroic cinematic sprint, and the anticipation of him finally reaching the crazed industrialist is palpable. Kanryu probably just thought his gun was malfunctioning, like, why isn't this working like it does in the movies? Having survived the bullet storm, Kenshin finally reaches Kanryu, delivering a decisive, non-lethal blow that knocks the Gatling gun out of his hands and sends him sprawling. The metallic clatter of the heavy weapon hitting the ground signals the end of his tyrannical rampage. Kanryu, now stripped of his weapons and his psychotic bravado, is reduced to a sniveling, whimpering mess. It's a satisfying downfall for a truly despicable villain. Soon after the authorities arrive, alerted by the earlier chaos, and Kanryu is finally apprehended. The click of handcuffs closing around his wrists is a sound of justice being served, albeit a bit belatedly after all the bullet holes in his house. His empire of opium and suffering is officially dismantled, and the streets are a little safer. It's always great to see the bad guy get his comeuppance, especially when he's as unpleasantly cartoonish as Kanryu. He'll probably spend his days in prison complaining about the lack of exotic food and how no one appreciates his innovative business practices. With the immediate threat neutralized, our weary but triumphant heroes return to the Kamiya dojo. The sounds of battle have been replaced by the soft rustle of bandages being applied and the quiet murmur of exhausted conversation. It's a much-needed moment of calm, a chance to tend to their wounds, both physical and emotional. The dojo, which has seen its fair share of chaos, now feels like a sanctuary. Megumi, finally free, uses her medical skills to help everyone, her gentle touch a stark contrast to her earlier forced servitude. Sanosuke, despite his usual boisterousness, is unusually subdued, reflecting on the heavy events. The shared experience has forged an unbreakable bond between them, a true found family. It's a time for quiet reflection, for acknowledging the sacrifices made, and for realizing that even in the darkest times, light can be found in companionship. You can practically feel the collective sigh of relief. A moment of peace before life inevitably decides to throw another curveball. Because, let's be honest, this is part 1, so there are definitely more curveballs coming. After everything, Megumi makes a profound decision. She chooses to leave the dojo, not to escape, but to embrace a new path, dedicating herself fully to ethical medicine. Her voice, once laced with desperation, now holds a quiet strength as she explains her resolve to use her skills for healing, not harm. The gentle swish of her traditional clothes as she bows in gratitude conveys her deep appreciation for Kenshin and his friends. It's her way of atoning for her forced involvement in Kanryu's opium trade, a truly inspiring act of self-redemption. Though sad to see her go, the group understands and respects her decision. She promises to keep in touch, a reminder that even temporary alliances can forge lasting connections. It's a bittersweet farewell, but one filled with hope for her future. You can't help but root for her, hoping she finds the peace and purpose she deserves, and maybe opens a really successful, ethically sourced herbal remedy shop. Just a thought. And so our wandering samurai's journey takes a beautiful turn. Kenshin, the man who spent years adrift, finally finds a place to call home. He chooses to stay at the Kamiya dojo, not just as a guest, but as a crucial member of this eccentric, big-hearted family. The quiet, almost reverent creak of the dojo's wooden beams seems to welcome him, a silent embrace of his new purpose. Kaoru, with her unwavering belief in him, and Yahiko, with his youthful exuberance, have shown him that he doesn't have to carry his burdens alone. The gentle rustle of the wind through the dojo's open doors feels like a fresh start, a new chapter. He's found not just a sanctuary, but a reason to continue his fight for justice, armed with his sakabato and the unwavering support of his friends. It's a truly heartwarming conclusion to his initial quest for peace, proving that sometimes the best way to move forward is to build something new right where you are. He's no longer just a Rurouni. He's part of a family, and that's a pretty epic upgrade if you ask me. The movie closes on a hopeful note, with the Kamiya dojo once again vibrant and alive. Kenshin, Kaoru, and Yahiko train together, the rhythmic thwack of their bamboo swords a comforting sound of renewed life and purpose. It's a visual representation of the new era, an era built on hope, justice, and the tireless efforts of individuals willing to stand up for what's right. The sun bathes the dojo in a warm glow, a stark contrast to the dark, rain-soaked battlefields of Kenshin's past. It speaks to the power of transformation, the quiet strength found in choosing kindness, and the enduring human spirit that seeks peace even after profound conflict. The journey of Kenshin, from legendary assassin to protector of the innocent, is a testament to the idea that our past does not define our future, but merely informs the choices we make today. We all face battles, internal and external, but it's the unwavering commitment to our values and the people we choose to stand with that truly makes us strong. It's a powerful reminder that even after the darkest storms, the sun will always rise, bringing with it the promise of a new, brighter day. What an incredible journey and a truly inspiring message.